going live. There you go. We are actually live right now in the I Love You Me community. Hello, I Love You Me community. Hello, beautiful souls. And of course, going out across Facebook and soon to be uploaded to YouTube. So hello, beautiful YouTube viewers, wherever you are. You might be following me, you might be following one of my beautiful guests, but total love to you on this auspicious and very special day. And welcome to this special solstice edition of Self-Love Talks. Now, with me today, I'm super excited. I've been bouncing around like a little kid since I woke up. With me today, I have some amazing guests with me, and one more may join us as well. But first of all, please say hello, guys. Say hello, Mary Catherine, who is an I Love You Me practitioner. She's a soul reader and a quantum healer, and just a general Emerald Isle goddess.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome. And I'd like to welcome my dear friend and soul sister, Christiane Van Wyk, who's an award-winning film producer, filmmaker, and part of the iconic media team as well. Thanks, Chrissy, for being here with us.
Really happy to be here today on this very special moment that we are sharing together. Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to you as well, talking about your amazing film that just got launched last night as well. I'd love you to share that with everybody. Yeah. And this amazing man that I literally just met last night, had great pleasure to listen to him speaking, Marcel Hoff. And he's a healer, a coach, he's incredible breathwork expert, and I'm actually going to let him tell you more about what he does. But welcome, Marcel. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you for joining. I see where it goes, just like life, so very interesting. Thank you.
Absolutely, just go with the flow. And we may have he's a bit of a legend, actually. I nearly called him Wonder Pants. I don't know where that's coming from, but I was gonna, but the legendary David Ash, who's a physicist and a very spiritual physicist. He may be joining us at some point. But anyway, guys.
He's joining us for sure.
Yeah, I hope he does. He's brilliant. He has some really cool some kind of quantum physics information to share with us about energies and vibrations. And of course, this is solstice. It's also the day of the grand conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. And the energies are palpable. By the way, before we get going, everybody who's watching this, if you feel so inclined, please share. Please just share this to your tribe. Put it out there, start a watch party, because we're going to be talking from now, probably the next hour and 40 minutes or so. And then we're going to go into an activation meditation around 0 point and new birth of new earth. So something around that, something quantum. So I do encourage you to share this with your friends, your family, your tribe, and let's just really come together as one. So thank you. Thanks for being here. Guys, I'd really love you to share more quickly with our beautiful viewers a bit more about who you are and what you do. Just fill them in and give them some background. And actually, Marcel, would you go first, darling?
Yes. Yeah, who am I? I'm Marcel. My name is Marcel Hoff. I trained from 13, 14 years together with my brother, Wim Hof. He's called the Iceman. But I think nobody knows I was in the beginning from making the Wim Hof method too. So a lot of intuitive knowledge came in during the making of the Wim Hof method, and the method about breathing, cold endurance, and also about focusing training. So we trained for 30, 35 years in nature, and still doing that, to contact with nature and to get the best in physical and mental shape, because by connecting in nature, you make a connection between your inner and outer nature. So, but in between, I always was interested in all kinds of masters, busy with how do you say it, enlightenment. And so I had my own way also of my own interests, a part of the method. And now there is also a Marcel Hoff method, but it's all about connecting with nature, finding your inner nature, getting your autonomy back. And so I always, I did a few years in hypnosis, playing with attention, all kinds of courses and trainings, and mostly trying out with my own body how everything works. So finding out, instead of only reading and listening to these masters, trying out for myself what works. And so after now 30, 40 years of all these things and trying out, the last 2 years we were a lot of abroad, giving all kinds of lectures and trainings and workshops about finding your autonomy, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And together with Anisha, my partner, we made like the masculine and feminine part we brought together. So it's a great way to get people back to their own autonomy and giving them means by finding out how to find that back. Because in the beginning, yeah, we came here as angels, but to find back your state of being an angel, it takes sometimes, because in between we were a little conditioned. So this deconditioning, we've got all kinds of ways. So we use hypnosis, we use heart meditation, we use cold endurance, breathing, all kinds of exercises, coming into the flow, just by trying out and finding out for yourself what works. So there is not one way, but all kinds of ways, including dancing, including whatever, using your voice. I also use my voice with the drum and a shamanistic drum and a voice to get people in trance. Then it's easier to let go of old conditioning. So all these things during 30, 40 years I tried out, and in that way we made a kind of program, but it's a lot, mostly is intuitive. It's all about finding back your intuition, your connection with your higher self, with everything around. And that's what I'm giving now, and that's what I'm sharing now. This knowledge, it's very natural, easy, normal knowledge. For me, that is the new normal. The new normal is being yourself, being authentic, finding back your autonomy. And yeah, I don't know if that is muscle off, but it is one way. That is the name in which I use these channels to find back myself. And everybody has his own expression. We are all this life force expressing ourselves in different names, in different forms, different scents, different odors. And that's the beauty of life. And to bring people back to this recognition, yeah, that's my aim, that's my purpose, that's my, yeah, that's why I'm here.
That's heaven on earth, that is.
Yes.
Thank you, Marcel. That was wonderful. I can tell you're going to have a lot of cool things to say tonight. Chrissy, introduce yourself. Tell everybody about your amazing new film and what you do.
Yeah, well, what I do is interesting, because that word "do" has been really, on my mind recently, because I was a doer and I was a woman on a mission for a long time, and for many, many years, especially after 2010, when I had during an ayahuasca experience, a very important experience that shaped my life for the last 10 years. I already was a filmmaker. I was already on the spiritual path. But in that vision, I was definitely shown the short window of time that we had to work on ourselves and clear our own shadows, but also to help other people awaken and help the collective awaken, so that we could shift frequencies and move outside of the limiting boundary of the matrix. And that message came in so strong that from that moment onwards, I have done nothing but be completely and utterly focused on creating productions, films to assist in this process. I was aware that I had a puzzle piece. I also knew there were many other puzzle pieces out there, but I just tried to use that pieces as well as I could. And last night, my film, The Blueprint, or my film, I shouldn't say my, because I actually did this. I'm used to working on my own with this, but now I worked with Karen Ayana Birch. We together created the film, The Blueprint. Marcel is in the film, actually. And this film really shows humanity's potential timelines based on where we are at now and what we choose now. And we show a timeline of AI, control, dystopia, And we show a timeline of where we choose to reconnect with heart and spirit and nature, and what kind of a world we can then create. So it's a little bit La Belle Verte meets The Matrix film. Maybe some people have watched La Belle Verte, the Green Beautiful. It was a film in the 90s, which also showed this incredible utopia. But to cut a long story short, I'm trying to now move from the doing to the being. And that's something I find very difficult. I'm a very active, mission-orientated person. But I really felt that after completion of the blueprint, I felt I've done what I could. And it's beautiful that it premiered last night. Today it's available on iconic.com. It was an incredible point to kind of go, okay, I'll still be making films, but it will be a different drive this time. It won't be this mission of, oh my God, I have to awaken everyone. The awakening process has happened worldwide. It is happening at an incredibly rapid pace. So it's very exciting. And so I'm now going to spend some time being more a being and not doing so much. So thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you, sweetheart. I was just actually typing that into the comments box below for everyone to go find that link on Iconic and go and check out the Blueprint film. And it's one of loads of amazing productions that Iconic have produced with Chrissy and with other people. And you get 7 days free trial. And you can watch as much as you can in 7 days for free, but I recommend it's not very much to sign up and be a member for a month, for a year. And I really recommend people go do that and get all that value. It's brilliant. I loved watching that film last night. It was so moving. Marcel, your bit at the end was just, I just loved it. I was just like, yes, I loved it so much. Thank you guys. It's so brilliant to have you here. Mary Catherine, you goddess, can you please tell everybody a little bit about you? And by the way, guys, I'm going to start walking. I'm just going to tell our viewers now. I'm going to put the camera off because otherwise you'll be distracted. I'm going to go and find my way through a creepy old dark hotel right to the roof so we get a sunset view and hopefully see a bit of stars. So you'll see me again in 5 minutes, but you might still hear me. So switching off. Tell us about you, Mary.
I will. Hello, everybody. So I'm Irish, as Tara said, but I'm currently living in Spain. And I am a quantum hypnosis coach. I am an I Love You Me coach with Tara and a soul reader with Tara as well. Tara was like a major activator in my awakening. And right now I'm kind of doing what Christine said. I'm in the being stage. I was doing a lot until August. And lots of courses. I'm running a couple of like quantum expansion courses, light language courses and things like that, just with my own community. And I went on holidays here and said, I think I want to be here. I manifested living here. And Tara came to visit. And since then, I have felt I've had to go back in again. It's like that stages of, when you're doing, you've been inspired, you're doing, and then I went on a holiday for 4 weeks and it ended up being 8, 9, 10. And I'm kind of coming back out of that into whatever I'm being inspired to kind of create again. So Tara, this is kind of my first time on Facebook because I went off tech for like a month as well, 2 months. So what am I doing? I'm kind of being right now again. And I think that's what this talk is going to be about, is that sense of like 0 point. There's like the living and then it's like going in and then it's this set point, neutral point, I think. So that's where I'm at right now. However, I'm still available for any quantum hypnosis sessions. A few VPs for reaching out and any I Love You Me sessions as well. So Tara, I don't have a lot to say on that other than that.
No, I'm just going to put my camera back on. Thank you, guys. No, I just thought I'd venture out. It has got a bit cloudy. We might just get a little glimpse of the star. I don't know, because I haven't seen it yet. But any of you are talking about this dropping into being. And I think there's, in a way, it's so simple because it just is. But when you don't understand what that means, and I remember the time in my life when I didn't understand, well, I would just be what? Just be how? I'm so much, I'm everything. How do you just be? you can choose to be this or choose to be that. And that was me back when I was 19 in university. So I feel like even though when you get it, and when you know, and there's the remembering that and the coming back to that, but then there's also the part of, well, what does that actually mean? And what does this mean of being in the moment? Like, what is that moment? What is the now? What is the 0 point? That neutrality. And we've talked about it before in roundtables, the sacred neutrality. So what is that for you guys? What does that mean for you? What is the art of just being? Because I know a lot of people as well, it's been a time of great purging, cleansing, like Marcel talked about, deconditioning. Everyone's been working on their stuff. And even just now, like I just came off with a client, so we were a bit late coming onto the live. I was with a client. This woman, like many of my clients, has been on it, on the personal development, on the spiritual work, on the healing work, doing quantum healing, doing all these incredible things for many, 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 many years. She had a problem at birth that had caused her a lot of pain and trauma. And we're talking like 52 years has gone by, and coming back to her moment of birth and just being with her newborn self, holding, breathing, seeing, listening, just being completely present with her little newborn, pained, really in pain self. She'd never done it. And this is so typical. I'm not saying like, well, silly her, you know, she did something wrong. She didn't. It's just that we don't know what we don't know, and we go on and do all these incredible things and techniques and all this personal work and the self and the, you know, the spiritual development work and this exercise and this meditation and that yoga and this, and it's like, and even these people, the clever, conscious, awake ones, are still in pain, still in struggle, still suffering, and wanting to know how to get free, how to get out, and how to be liberated, and how to just be. What do you guys think on that?
Can I say, oh, sorry. Go for it, Marcel.
No. Who first? I want to say.
I was actually surprised at how much suffering I was still feeling, especially in the last few weeks. It was off the scale. And I really was like, wow, is this a total merry-go-round? What is actually what does it take to break through something? And as much as much there is that can contribute to breaking through that, I found that what was really helping me a little bit was to really recognize the duality and the way I was getting tempted by duality all the time. Totally, you know, working for the good side, working against the baddies, working against the bad agenda on this earth, blah, blah, blah. That was still very much a sign of duality to me. And it was only when I decided to switch off my social media and not look at all these stories and informations coming in all the time, because you're constantly processing it. And it does something to your frequency. It actually pulls you into the negative side of mass consciousness. And you can do whatever work you want to do. You can clear whatever you want, but you still have to contend with the consciousness of the environment that you're in. So if you can minimize that in some way, then it's much more easy to recognize what is really some shadow that is inside of you, or what is a shadow that is that is actually picked up from what's going on in your environment, in the mass consciousness. Has Tara disappeared?
Tara's disappeared, but perhaps we shall prevail and keep going until she pops back on. She might be on her way back into the hotel. Christina, I'll pick up the stick quickly, just to expound or just say the mirroring in the mirror of the EIC, because that's similar to what my journey has been just even the last 3 months. And this has been, I think the 3 months for for me, have been the most difficult 3 months after I made a decision to actually step out of the giving and the holding space and the processing all the stuff and thinking I had to do. That was my purpose, and it is my purpose, but it's this aspect of attachment to it. And when I did that, and I went on a journey of what I felt I needed, what I felt I was guided to, the word I would use is embodiment. You know, what does that mean? And Tara asked, what is the 0 point? And I think it's different for everybody. Maybe there is no one answer. It's the journey towards that for us all. Perhaps that's what the soul wants, is actually, that's the duality, that's the contrast. It's there because the soul wants to experience something, maybe. But I was doing this as well myself after all the years, you know, that you're like, oh, I thought I did that already. Why is it coming up again in this way? This is a face I recognize, and yet it's coming at me again. That shadow aspect stuff. So it's been interesting, and that's the word I would use. Uncomfortable, interesting, at the same time exciting, because part of us also knows there's something juicy there. Yeah, it's definitely been that. And at the same time, what I've felt and seen and sensed with that whole external stuff, everybody knows what we're talking about, the outside forces. And I hope it's okay to use this word, BS. The BS entrainment is what I felt. That's the word that was coming to me, is that we're being constantly entrained into the BS. And I actually had a session I did with an I Love You Me session where I physically saw myself. You know, the geese they fatten for Christmas and they force feed the, you know, that thing that goes down into the gut and they're like stuffing stuff in. And I saw that in me, if that makes sense. I saw that energetically and I was like, whoa. And I realized that was a lot of that's why I switched off from the internet. It was a lot of that kind of stuff. But also it was my own, where I colluded in some of it in some aspects. And also it was the programming and seeing others around us and truth. What is that? So it's kind of like, how do we reset into 0 point? I'm just saying it's that aspect of we're pulling this out almost. It's almost like, let us not be those fattened geese for Christmas anymore. You know, can we own our truth? Own our own energy and not feel responsible, because that was definitely some of the stuff going on with me, for others, for my own self. And I'm still working through this. I don't have the golden nugget yet, but it's fascinating in the journey if uncomfortable. And I'm sure people, I don't know if that's a good metaphor to use, but that's what was shown to me. And it was, I was nearly like gagging on that. Yeah. So Tara hasn't joined us yet. I'm going to put down a stick.
Oh God, no, I blanked out. Sorry. I wanted to say something along. I was like, I'm gonna say when she finishes, and then you blank out. Marcel, you talk.
Yeah, is everybody finished? I can say something about it. So what the last few weeks were very extreme for me too, like for everybody, but also because of the dying of the mother of my children a few weeks, 10 days ago. And it had a great impact also because all the things in my life that didn't go the way I wanted it to go came up again. And also my life together with her for 20 years. I have 2 children with her, and just a week before also the dog of my partner, Nietzsche, died. So I was in this very dark side of dealing with death and leaving everything behind. Death is just also a symbol of leaving everything behind in all the things you cannot hold on to anymore. So it made the totality. I always say life is is total. You cannot exclude anything from life. You have to include everything, because everything, deep sorrow to deep trust and deep, joy, it's all part of life. So even accepting this part of dying and feeling the grief and totally allowing it and totally being in it without forcing it to go away, to resist it, made my how do you say it? Made my life more integral, even more. In that way, and you can allow the deepest grief. So dying, and I almost died the last 3 years. 2 times I almost died. I had to surrender completely. I thought, I've seen it all, I've done it all, I tried everything, ayahuasca and all these kind of drugs in my youth, drinking a lot, but nothing was there which gave a really solution to whatever. So the last few weeks, also integrating this part of death of somebody who I love for 20 years or for a long time, who I know for 35 years, and seeing the grief of my children and feeling it deeply and totally and without resistance made my feeling of joy. It came in a total different aspect, a total different perspective. So joy is not only being joyous and laughing a lot, but feeling the totality of life, including the deep grief. And if you can live that, so these are all the circumstances of life. But we as a person, we as a consciousness are beyond and before these circumstances. So that is, I think, the thing we have all there. We can recognize each other because there we are this love, we are this life force, and from there we can accept everything without resistance, even dying, even living. But if you want to live completely, you have to die every moment completely. So there is still sometimes a little resistance, but I saw it when I'm totally without resistance. I left most of it, and it still is sometimes there, but I can change my attention, let the resistance go, and then I feel this completeness of life, this total acceptance is so powerful. I saw the total gift of dying. So that was the most important part for me. So this 0 point is for me accepting life every moment, every second as it is, whatever comes. That is the changing. But at the same time, everything is always changing. But at the same time, you as life itself, as love itself, are never changing. You are the witness at the same time. And this beauty, this completeness, is very, very, very powerful. That was the great gift of dying I saw the last few weeks. And that was the great gift of dying of my ex-partner, who I know very, very good, and still know. And also the how do you say it? The coming into existence of one of my daughters as a shaman, because she can still communicate with her mother. And before, she had psychosis and all these things, and she had some difficult things and difficult time, but now she came back in her strength, and it gave me so much more joy and pleasure in a totally different way than before, than being joyous and laughing a lot, but making the life so complete. So it was a great gift. So even dying can be a great gift. So it makes life more complete than ever. So that was for me standing out, and at the same time fully being engaged in life.
Marcel, that's totally on point and profound to say that. And I think a lot of people are really resonating with you, because we've seen a lot of people losing their loved ones from this body, not losing from their life in the spirit, but losing from this life in terms of the tangible body. And a lot of people have had their loved ones pass and not being able to have that moment of being with them because of the whole situation that's going on, and been deprived of those last moments with their beloveds. And there's some grief, there's a lot of grief around that. And also I feel like a lot of people I know, because that's people are communicating this to me, is that there's a fear of what's coming in the world, whether it goes into the dystopian 1984 scenario or worse, or there's the stuff, and we could even touch on that perhaps, of what maybe of what we see coming, if that route is a reality. And for the people that feel like it is a reality, there's a lot of fear around losing their loved ones and losing their own life. And then there's also a fear of the other path of like, well, what if this ascension means that people they love, they've got to let go of them and they won't be able to come with, so to speak, you know, that there has to be some kind of separation for those who are ascending, going into fifth dimension. There's a lot of use of this language, which is making a lot of people feel like, oh my goodness, do I have to let go of all the people I love, and what's going to happen if they die, and will they die? And, you know, this whole death scenario is, I think, really, really important to kind of go into. And a lot of people actually are on the community are sending you their love and prayers and having a lot of compassion and empathy for your loss, and they're sending you a lot of love for sharing.
Beautiful.
So thank you for sharing. And I agree with you. I was actually listening to Sasha Stone video the other day, and he was talking about how you have to pass through the rite of passage of death. You have to go to the deepest, darkest places, to the most lonely places, even to the grave, or not, you're not quite to the grave in the ground, but, you know, to have left this body to go into that void and actually be able to come back in. And that's the path of the healer. And that's the initiation that enables us to really understand the preciousness of life, what life truly is, that it is a gift, that it is unconditional love. And it's not like you don't get unconditionally loved in death, but it's the presence that's there. And there's some kind of massive awakening happens when each of us passes through that experience. And instead of having to wait another lifetime and ending this lifetime and dying and then recreating, being reborn back on the karmic wheel, coming back in again, trying to make the understanding, trying to make the quantum leap of consciousness in the next lifetime, it's like in this lifetime, we're having to relive those death moments again and again and again, closing all the loops on our fears, letting go and letting certain parts of us die to be reborn and come back. I don't know, I guess as mini little ascended master particles, you know, you know, we are little, when you go through that transition, that it's a bit like an eclipse, isn't it? It's going from one state of being, passing through the darkness and coming out into a new state of being. And that happens on a metaphysical level, and it even can happen on a cellular and DNA level as well, when we have these rites of passage, these initiations. And Mary has a story. I don't know if you want to share it here, Mary, but Mary shared with me a story of how she nearly died and went to that door and, you know, had some realizations. And if you feel like sharing that, Mary, please do. That was super powerful. That really touched me. And me, I died in the womb when I was 3 months in utero, and then was apparently dead for 2 months and then came back to life again. So I've been really completing loads of lifetimes of death and rebirth in my body ever since. You know, it's been fascinating. But guys, thank you for watching, and please share your comments and thoughts as we're sharing this as well. Any of you, I know a lot of people, certainly a lot of people that have been on the self-love talks have had near-death experiences and come back, and they come back and share their experience. It's amazing.
Tara, can I say something that just came to me?
Totally.
You know those yogi tea bags with the little sayings on them? There's one of them that says, if you cannot see God in all, you cannot see God at all. And I've never forgotten that. It always was something that I thought I must never forget that. Whenever I'm in the depths of what seemingly seems like complete crazy duality of war, can I still feel and see the God in all? And then if we talk about the artificial intelligence timeline, and we categorize that within the, you know, the duality as the negative timeline, what if we looked at it in such a way that it's like, well, there is some kind of energy from source that wants to experience artificial intelligence, and that wants to basically, and I the way I said it yesterday was like that two kids go to their school teacher, and the school teacher is God, and they go, teacher, we've got a question. Could we please do a project? It's rather unusual. And the teacher goes, yeah, go ahead, tell me. Well, we've seen how you create all these amazing fractal organic things, but we'd like to do that ourselves, even though we're not able to create yet. Can you allow us the space where we can start trying to do what you do? and then, the teacher could be like, okay, but we have to do it in a safe space, that if it goes wrong, it doesn't affect the entire universe. So maybe, these kids are souls that want to know what it's like to create non-organic life, have consciousness go into non-organic life. If we can see it as yet another experiment and use the, see God in all, then maybe we can get to that 0 point that we're talking about, where we are completely okay with whatever is just wanting to play out, and we stay and remain in the absolute knowing that we are pure consciousness.
I love that. Yeah, I love that, Christine. And a word that was coming to me when you were saying that little saying on the tea bag, we're all just coming home. And this is one of the things that Tara says in I Love You Me as well. It's like, please come home, all those parts of me. We're all on a journey to come home, but what is home for us? What have we associated with home? What is our programming around home? What is that? Is that 0 point? And all the keys to get into 0 point, is that forgiveness? Is that unconditionally loving oneself? Is that letting go of the attachments, the judgments, the perceptions, and that's the journey, because everybody's journey is going to look different. And Tara, you brought up that, like, would I share my experience? And one of the things sometimes I feel this like, because for me, it's like almost an evidence of my extremism. If I was to like say, oh, why did you have to get to that point before you would come home? How far away from home did you have to go before you decided to turn back around again? It's that element of the, if God was God, source creator, said, okay, now daughter, you're free, go wherever you want to go. Well, I'm going to go as far away as I can and my journey on that way before I kind of go, oh, I'm lost now and I feel separate and this is dark. This feels alone. So it's, I'm kind of skirting around the story, but that was it essentially. My story is just that I was separate from me and I didn't know it. I wasn't even conscious of it. I was separate from everything around me in a way that I didn't know it either. I thought I wasn't. I thought I was successful and happy and abundant, and some people may have seen that looking in. But eventually it was, for me, it was my body that had to tell me, hello, come home. I'm breaking down, come home. I'm sick, come home. You're dying, come home. Hi, David. Welcome. So I think Tara was a key, and it feels like that sense of if Source is saying, go discover thyself, and I trust you'll come and find yourself back home, which is love. Tara for me was a key, but we're all little keys for each other, isn't it? It's like we find all these doors and let's discover the keys. And what are the keys in this moment in time for me? I discussed that one around feeling like I'm letting go of my BS entrainment programming. That's the journeys. And Marcel, you talked about, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that the passing of your wife. That, like, death is the ultimate. Yeah. Isn't it? It's the ultimate key and door to pass through. And Tara, you used the word initiations. It's the biggest one. Maybe that's what the whole world is afraid of right now. Dying. Death. And what does that mean? And what do we make it mean? So yeah, 0 point.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really good point you're making, because I think that whole fear of being and being with oneself, truly being with oneself, is the reason why we are so ridiculously addicted to information. That we constantly want the information, so that we put ourselves in that duality all the time, so that we don't actually have to go to that 0 point, to that being state. I think the collective is generally completely frightened of that point of not doing, of being. And I hope that with this shift that we're going through right now, that we will, have some experience where we can face it, like what you just said, Marcel, about when death happened, you were being present with the emotion of it. I really hope for humanity that we can collectively start being a lot more, and not being afraid anymore of just, there's nothing, there's no information, there's nothing to do today, to just be with ourselves.
Yeah, I wanted to hop in. I think we have to get used to dying every second, every moment, because everything is changing now so quickly. We cannot hold on to anything anymore. And that's because the information is so much, there is an overload, and it's changing all the time. What is now real now the true is not true anymore after 2 or 3 or 5 seconds. So you cannot hold on to whatever, even to whatever thought or idea of yourself. So we have to get used to letting go of all ideas, all perceptions about each other and about yourself. And I think that's a kind of get used to dying in a way, to find who we really are beyond all these perceptions and ideas about each other and ourselves especially. So, and then you fall naturally, for me, you fall naturally to this basic, the 0 point, which you are. That's life itself, it's consciousness itself, it's love itself. And there is the natural recognition of each other. So for me, that it's the 0 point. And then it's easy to recognize, because this unity, that's who we are. And from there, you see everybody as yourself, as this God, as this life force, as this energy, in which is in everyone, expressing only in different forms, which is Christiane, which is Marcel, and all the other people, and Tara, and I don't know everybody yet, but everybody in his own expression, but the same energy going through it and recognizing that. And for me, that's more and more the 0 point. It's not me anymore, it's
we
in everybody, but me in everybody, and every soul and every expression.
Thank you. Welcome, David Ash.
Sorry, I'm late.
Oh.
I can hear you very clearly, yeah.
Rock stars rock up to the party late, don't they? It's wonderful it's wonderful to have you here with us, David. We've been talking about 0.0 time. Well, we haven't actually got to the time point yet, but this moment today, obviously very special. Winter solstice, it's always special for me. But we have the conjunction. We've had in fact, I'm inviting everybody to share really what they make of this time and what it is to them. And we've been talking about this 0 point, sacred neutrality, coming into self just in the being, and getting very present with that. What does that mean to you? You're a physicist.
Well, I think it's quite extraordinary to have this grand conjunction on the 21st, on the winter solstice, with so much emphasis placed on this particular date in the 2012 scenario. And the thing is that the 2012 scenario, we have to remember in 93, we were told there was going to be a 10-year extension. So, we all had to hold our breaths a bit, and, whatever it was that was going to happen in 2012, we can expect 10 years later. But certainly I feel the grand conjunction is the opening of a gateway. It doesn't mean anything spectacular is going to happen. It's the analogy I would use is if you're going into a field to collect the sheep and you've got your sheepdog at your heel, you open the gate, but that doesn't mean all the sheep come rushing out immediately. You've got to go in there, you've got to herd the sheep and send them out the gate. So in the same way, just because the gate is opening today, it doesn't mean the flock are going to go charging into the 5th dimension immediately. That's the first thing. But the second thing, as I came in, everyone talking about death and dying, I prefer to talk about ascension myself. And the thing about, the theme today of love is a word that, means so many different things to different people. For some people, it just means a good bonk, whereas other people, it means something slightly different. And certainly from my perspective, love means, unconditional love means being slightly more than 50% caring for others rather than caring for ourselves. And that is David Wilcock. What he said is that in order to qualify for ascension, we have to be just slightly over 50% more in service to others than in service to ourselves. And to me, that is love, is where we really are considering others. And we can all go on about spiritual practice and ceremony and what have you, but I was really blown away when I participated in this year's Yom Kippur service. And there was one page which ended up, and this is the word of God. And I thought, well, that's an interesting page. It says God speaking. And what God was saying, that's the claim on the page, is he doesn't give a tuppenny toot for all this bowing and scraping, people sort of bowing away. You know how the Jews do before the Wailing Wall. He says, bowing like bulrushes, that doesn't mean anything to me. He says, what means something to me is, housing the homeless, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and keeping holy the Sabbath day, the Shabbat. And it's so clear that we're being called on to love one another, just to care for each other. And, we've got so much opportunity at this time with so many people going through so much difficulty and hardship, just to be there for one another and helping people in need. So, it's a very exciting time we're entering. I'm certain that we're entering now the time of ascension. And so more than ever before, we need to be just there for each other and there for the rest of humanity and for the planet, caring for the bees and all the other little creatures that need our love and care.
David, do you think, speaking as a physicist, a very knowledgeable and educated man, do you think that, in like a quantum field sense, that we are entering a 0 point?
I think we are. You see, time is relative to the speed of light. So the time frame we are in here is relative to the speed of the energy that forms our bodies, forms the world we're in. But when this great transition to the fifth dimension happens, the time stream of the fifth dimension is completely different to the time stream here, because the speed of the energy is different. They're working on a different constant, Einstein constant. So the 0 time point is where you get the resonance between the physical world and the fifth dimensional world. And that is the moment, as I describe it, as the doorway of light, where we are confronted with this fifth dimensional energy. And as we step into that light, the light of the fifth dimension, we step into a different time completely. And so that is the zero point of time, if you like, that transition from one stream of time into another. And I see time as rivers. We're in one particular river and the fifth dimension is in another. But the 0 point is the transition between one river and another.
And how do you support people to get there? Because I can imagine if that was me and you've got, let's say, one set of time and there's a certain reality, we're all familiar with it, we've all been here a gazillion times, if we believe in reincarnation and all our soul memories, or even just this lifetime now, and we get attached and we like the way things are, even though we kind of don't, and then we're on the precipice, let's say, walking into that door of light. 1, do we believe it? 1, do we trust it? 2, do we trust it? 3, what's going to happen to us when we step through it? Are we going to like it? Can we get back? What about the other people on the other side? What about the people in the fifth dimension? Will we fit in? Are we good enough? You know what I mean? It's like that precipice moment. All of these things are going through people's heads. What would you say?
Exactly. Now, Tara, you, like me, have been through decades of mental pummeling from our dear Maharaji, or, Prempal Singh Rawat, about the mind. About the whole message has been, fuck the mind and get into the breath. My dear brother Stephen was confronted by the door of light. He was out on a vision quest, and he came out of the vision quest to see this amazing, great door of brilliant light in front of him. And do you know what he did? He thought about it. he looked down at his feet and he thought, I wonder if this is a hallucination. And as he looked down into his feet, he stepped backwards into a ravine and fell. And I mean, he didn't die, but he nearly lost his hand because a splinter of wood went right through his hand, you see. So
it was physical. It literally appeared in front of him. Do you mean it actually
appeared in front of him?
In front of his eyes?
It appeared in front of him, yeah, because they could see he was standing on the edge of a ravine. He didn't know it because he was on a mountain and it was terrible mist and rain and everything, and he didn't know where he was. He'd been for whatever it was, 48 hours or 72 hours, he'd been in a tent, he's a bit dazed. So someone knew he was in grave danger, and we were told that if any of us were in grave danger, they would offer us the door of light to pluck us out. And instead of stepping into the light without hesitation, without thinking about it, so he fell backwards, and that was a big lesson. He nearly died. So the thing is this, that it's the great thing about the door of light and the 0 point is all that stuff that you were talking about. Is it going to be this? Oh, am I going to come back? Oh, are the aliens going to get me? Oh, it's a subduction, all the rest of it. The light will just melt away. It won't hang around. As soon as you get into your heads, it's gone. The key with the door of light, with ascension, is you have to get out of your head and get into your heart. And this is why, I am so grateful to, the Sat Guru, to Maharaji, because he trained me to meditate. He trained me to get into my heart. The whole point of all our meditations and practices is to get it so that when that point comes, we don't think. You see, it's a test. It's a test of where our faith is. Do we really trust the light? Do we just give ourselves unconditionally to it? There's some idiot on the YouTube, and these idiots, they get vast followings. They get thousands of people, queuing up and paying money to listen to them. This idiot is saying, don't go into the light. The aliens will abduct you. Well, of course they're abducting us. What do you think? These are fifth dimensional entities, by definition, angels or aliens. And of course they're abducting us because we can't lift ourselves by our own bootstraps into the fifth dimension. We have to be lifted. That first step, we have to surrender. And if we can't let go and trust, well, then they can't do anything. And it's like, it's like, my attitude is if they want to abduct me, I'll take the risk.
What do you think, Chrissy? Chrissy, what do you think?
No, because honestly, I love Uncle David. David's my buddy. And we've had many discussions about this over many years. And what I'd like to add, being a Capricorn earth sign, to just bring it down to a really basic thing, is that in the ayahuasca experience 10 years ago, I was taken to the time where we went through the shift. And the only way I knew we'd gone through the shift was because I felt different. There was no portal, there was no light, there was no nothing. It was me. I had stepped into that vibe. And in a way, we are already in there. But if not, we need a certain number of people for the energy to become potent enough so that it is actually a settled energy on the realm that we're in right now. And this is why I was told it was so important for many people to wake up, because the more the mass consciousness carries that consciousness, it's multidimensional. Fifth dimension is only one of them. If we are able to tap into that consciousness, that's it. It's just the tapping into the consciousness. That's what does it. That's at least that's what was my understanding of it.
I think this is brilliant because everybody has a different way of relating and communicating and understanding it. And I think listening to one another, it's all relevant. It's all relevant. It's all relevant to somebody as well that's listening. I know, Mary Kathleen, you have a lot of experience. I think it's very
valid what you've said, Tara. It's very valid what you've said. Everyone's got different ways. It's like different models. And it could be different for each different person. We don't really know what's going to happen, if anything happens. The only reason I've got back onto the door of light after all these decades is because of my brother Stephen's experience. I thought, hell, if Stephen got off at the light and just started thinking, And he's been trained. He's been with Maharaji all these years. So watch the mind. Be careful of the mind. So we've all got these concepts, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we've got concepts of how it's going to happen. And actually, none of us really know.
None of us have a clue.
None of us have a clue. I love that. I love it.
We're just chatting.
I know. I mean, I love a good theory, but I know it's all bullshit. You know,
But that's the beauty, though. It's true, though. Get out of your head and into your breath.
Absolutely.
That's the constant. Whatever happens, whether you see a bright shining light out in front of you, whether the aliens come down, and some people are saying go with them, and some people are saying definitely don't hit them with a stick. Some people, you know, some people, some people are like, the doorway of that light is within. That's where I've seen it. That's where I've been. I walk through doorways of light inside me all the time. Like whether it's a doorway through my cells or into a part of a memory or a consciousness, or straight into the white light. It happens all the time. But it's like, what does that mean for different people? And I think having an expectation of something is just still in the head. If you can just breathe and feel and be, like coming back to what you guys were all saying earlier, just being, you can feel what's really your truth. You come into alignment with what is actually the truth. And maybe we try and put words on something that you can't put words on, but you can feel it. Mary Catherine, what do you think of aliens coming down and taking us to fifth dimension? I know you have a lot of experience with this.
I'm a freaking alien. I don't know, you know, so.
Not from the planet. Who's not from Earth? Put your hands up. You're safe here.
I have come from afar. I'm laughing when I'm loving it and laughing at it, and at the same time, like I can feel my body doing like because this is that thing I talked about at the very start, Tara. I think you popped out. It's the BS entrainment. That's what it's been for me. Is there's no right and wrong. That's the whole thing about it, and there's no one way, and that's what's bringing us into our heads. There must be a way, but how? What is the way? I need to know the path. So that's what it's been for me. So for me, it's been, can I disengage with discourse and keep going within? And within, something will unravel, like it's a tapestry, and just travel through that for now within. And within is the truth, within is the heart, within is the soul. And can I listen to that? Because this, for me, this is my journey. Can I trust me? Can I trust me to just be and know when I need to know? So one of my things is I need to know now. So it's can I trust that? And that's that thing of controlling it as well. So even with this, with the discourse and the stories and everybody's experience is different. We can't control how it'll show up for us. And that's that element of what David said, like that sense of, you know, surrender, control. Like, do you surrender into it or do you take a step back from it? It's fascinating because it's not, there's no corners on this. You know, it's kind of like, or is there? You know? But I feel what you said, Tara, is it's all about listening to you. Actually, if you're ever going to listen to anybody at all, even those of you listening to us out here today, don't take anything we say as absolute truth. Always go within, because you're your own guru. People say that now a lot. You're your own guru. And that is the truth in a way, isn't it? So I don't know. Put down the stick now.
I tell you what, though, I'm so grateful I had a guru, and I know people diss gurus these days, and we are our own gurus, but I chose to sit there and listen, and I chose to learn. And I'm so glad I did, because when I'm thirsty and I can't find the water and I find somebody giving me the water, I'm going to sit there and drink until I'm not thirsty, and I know how to get to the water myself, because I wouldn't have got there without it. It would have taken me a really long time, and it didn't. I had that from the moment I was born in my life. So I'm incredibly blessed. I feel super blessed for having that. I never didn't know who I was or where to find me, which was really cool. And I know a lot of people don't have that, but can I also say, I have a deep appreciation for people who actually know what they're talking about and who offer something very real. And a real guru will always say, just like you said, Mary, don't look at my finger and where I'm pointing to. No, sorry, don't look at me, look at the finger and where the finger is pointing to. It comes from a Rumi poem, I think. When the master is pointing at the moon, don't look at the master, look at the moon. Look where the finger is pointing, and the master will always point back to you, that you become self-sufficient, empowered, you find your own way. But having that master, having those teachers, as many of us have had so many teachers, I mean, right? Even breath itself is a teacher to learn from and to listen from. So I'd like to say all of it is good. It's all good. I'm kind of curious though, what do we think of fifth dimensional beings coming down with lights and ships? What do we think? Is that such a thing? Do we get in the ships or don't we? What is fifth dimension? What do you think, guys?
Resonance, perhaps, in the sense of, and this is where you say breath and we come back to body. And this is perhaps what we are using others or drinking of others on that journey, because everybody's a different stage on the journey. And in the mirror, again, everybody's a mirror for ourselves. That's where we're discovering what our truth is perhaps by the resonance with which it vibrates with us. Yeah. And I'm kind of going to come back to you, because that's what you were for me, Tara. I mean, somebody said your name to me, Emma. Emma said your name to me, and I had never met you, never heard about you. And I was sitting on a chair, my body vibrated because my body said yes. And I trusted that and I listened to that. Now that might look different for somebody else. So if we're talking about fifth dimension, for me, because that's how I experience the world. And this is the thing, like, I can only speak from my experience of things. I feel that if I was to see, sense, feel, which we can do if we're going in and in meditation, seeing, sensing beings is what I'm kind of doing when I'm soul reading and things like that. But if we're to talk physical, and I think I've had one experience of a physical thing that freaked me out when I saw it. But if we were to talk fifth dimensional, is it a possibility? Absolutely. Is there a sense of me being in a certain space to receive that? Yes. I feel that there'll be a certain resonance within me that will match the resonance within that for me to see, experience, and engage in a way. That's where I'm at right now. That could change. Timelines could change.
Can I come in here? Can I catch what you just said? Because I really feel that word resonance. What you were saying, this is so important what you've just said, that you go for the feeling in your body. Your body tells you, you know, that choice point. We're going to be offered a choice point. We don't know how it will be, maybe a light inside, a light outside, or an alien in green, you know, we don't know what it's going to be, but there's going to be a choice point, because we're free will beings where we choose, okay? And the only way to go is go with the feeling of your body, tune into your body and see how you feel, not how you think, but how you feel, because it's that feeling, and your whole body will vibrate, or something inside you'll just know. It's like the knowledge, you will know it's right for you or know it's not right for you. And if you follow that inner knowledge, that inner feeling, that body response, that resonance of your whole being, in whatever way that choice point comes, you can't go wrong.
You know,
and
what,
can I just say about the fifth dimension?
Yeah, please do.
Well, as a physicist, I've devoted 50 years of my life and rewritten the whole of physics to get a handle on the fifth dimension. And as far as I'm concerned, my vortex theory has shown me that particles of energy are not things, they're thoughts. They're more like thoughts than things. And so the whole of this universe we're in is like a great dream, a great act of imagination. And that's why, you know, at the age of 13, you know, Maharaji said this world that we see is the imagination of God. And the Aboriginals speak about the dream states. So we're in one dream state, and the fifth dimension is just another dream state, just another level of the great big dream we're all in. And that dream state is just based on a different speed of energy or different frequency people use as a metaphor. And so we just go from one reality, one world into another world, like just stepping, you know, from this platform into the tube when it arrives.
I love that. And there is an Aboriginal ceremony happening right now in Uluru with the 12 elders outside and inside Uluru itself in the middle of Australia.
Wow.
Right now, as we're speaking, they're doing the ceremony to open what's being called the box, but apparently it's a giant spherical crystal that needs to be activated. Something like this is what I've heard, that's awaiting activation and is going to have some kind of energetic pulse or vibrational impact on the whole world. Uluru being recognized at least by the native Australians, the Aboriginals, that Uluru is the heart of the mother. So
has anyone heard any news yet of how it's going? Because they weren't sure if they were going to find the rock, the crystal within the rock. And did anyone hear any updates? Because I'm super...
No, if anybody has an update who's watching right now, please post and share us and let us know. And I just wanted to share Katrina's comment. It's disappeared off the feed now, Katrina, but something about her 18-year-old son, who is actually an amazing musician. Listen to his music, he's beautiful. This boy has been, a young man, sorry, has having constant dreams about aliens coming, and Katrina's saying that they should go, something like that. Did I get that right, Katrina? Did I get that right? Because I missed your whole comment, it's disappeared, but essentially that the feeling is that they are here to help us. So if beings of light do appear, because there's a lot of talk of false light as well, false light and what's real. And again, we can't trust our minds. Our minds will see both, maybe as the same. Light is light. How is one false and one real? But we feel the difference. Like you said, Mary Catherine, it's here to vibrate and to feel every vibration around you. And you know what your true vibration is, what your true node is, or your true note. It's powerful.
And that's part of the journey to 0 point too, isn't it? To find that true note.
I guess the everything and the nothing. I mean, I could talk on this myself for days and days, completely on this for days. So I'm not going to, but for me, that feeling is the 0 point is the alpha and the omega. It's the absolute and the absolute of everything, of all that is. And inside that nothingness is the everything. And yeah, but I guess many people have been saying, you know, I didn't come here to sit on a mountain and meditate and be in 0 point. I came here in this human body right now to experience all the chaos of what it means to be in a human body. I came here to do the work. I came here, like you said, Chrissy, you know, and your whole movie was about that. You know, I came here to participate in this awakening moment. And we live in human bodies and we do things. Like we could just be, you know, sitting on mountains, you know, in that light, meditating and being in that oneness. A lot of people don't want to do that. So where's the, you know, what's the truth in that? What do you feel?
I feel that it could be both, you know, because I feel that I've really experienced the ultimate direction of experiencing in total chaos and total suffering and everything. But now I also feel that my being wants to know. I'm not sure if it's right to say wants to know, but it does feel like I want to also go to the other direction and experience the being right now. And I've spoken to a lot of people, and you said it yourself as well, Mary Catherine, that you also feel more a pull to moving away from all the doo-doo and doing the being. I think it could be both. And that we end up integrating both a little bit, you know, divine masculine, divine feminine, balanced. And maybe the whole fifth dimensional reality can only come about when we have both in balance. Maybe. Maybe not.
Somebody's saying in here, I missed his name, I'm sorry about that. It went past really quickly. He said apparently it's gone well, it's doing well, the ceremony. I believe it's still going on though. So in about 30 minutes from now, actually, Mary Catherine is going to do a live kind of meditation activation and take everybody through some kind of 0-point experience, I guess. Whatever you experience will be up to you. But between now and then, what is important that wants to be spoken and shared in this moment from us sitting here out to the universe? What is it that is important to share?
Yeah. I want to say something about a year ago. I was in Bali and we were giving this course for 30 days, 30 years and 30 days. It was all about meditating and all these things and colds and breath and all kinds of things. But the last night before I began this 30 days of experimenting with all kinds of forms, I had this intuition about what am I going to talk about with these people, these students, these people who want to learn something. And then this intuition came about the formless form. So the formless form for me is this being which we all are and in which we all express ourselves. We've got this body, and in this body we can experience all kinds of things and all kinds of vibrations and all kinds of dimensions. But at the same time, we are this formless form expressing itself. So it's not about good or bad, no division anymore. Living from this unity, everything comes from this unity. So we can, this Layla, they call it also this game of life is just the beauty. Seeing itself in all these forms, expressing itself in all these forms is the beauty. And there we can really respect each other, love each other, see the life force in each other and see the beauty of all of it. And if you come from this formless form, from this unity, there is a natural, how do you say it, collaboration, because you can bring energies together. It becomes a synergy, it becomes a dance, a play. It's just a play of the same life force all the time, ongoing, eternal. So what is there to be said? We can now play together and not be adversaries anymore to each other, but we can make a synergy, we can make a dance together or with a group or with groups. So for me, that's the most important thing from where I live more and more. My basis went back to this unity, and from there I can enjoy everything. Even if I don't enjoy, I can enjoy of not enjoying at that moment. So it's just an expression, another expression into a form, and every form has its own beauty.
How do people do that right now? Because like as of today, London went into lockdown tier 4. Loads of the Southeast, loads of the world is seriously locked up. We have been kept for the majority of this year in separation. We can't just go out and dance with our friends and be in that unity, you know, or can we? You know, what? Because I get, you know, and a lot of people are getting, you know, may potentially get a little bit upset about what you've said, was because they're like, yeah, well, we want unity, but we're not allowed to have it. How do you speak to that?
Yeah, that's also a form. Being in lockdown is another form, which is there right now. We have to do and to deal with this form. We've got the same here, and I'm now living in Holland. We've got also a lockdown, extreme lockdown. We can just invite like 3 people, not going to dance or whatever. Then we have to go inside again. So it's also a possibility to see this formless form again in yourself, recognizing yourself. And these are just circumstances. These circumstances are just a moment. They're that's what happening right now. So you have to deal with what is happening right now. And every now changes. Every second, every moment, everything changes. How do you deal with the circumstances? You are not the circumstances. You are more than that. You are before that and beyond that. So seeing that and living from that point, and dealing with whatever circumstance. That is the miracle, that is the possibility, that is the choice. There we've got absolute choice. You can fight against it, you can go with the flow, you can dance with it. We've got all these possibilities with whatever circumstance, even the circumstance of death. You can choose to surrender totally to it. You can fight against it. So there we are a free being, and you can choose freely. You are not the circumstances, never.
I love that. You can dance in your choice, right? You can dance in any moment, whether it's death or birthing. And in fact, when I was giving birth to my babies, I was dancing, literally. Yeah. Like literally dancing with the energy so that I wasn't in pain having that transitional experience. I was in total light and bliss. Dancing is so beautiful. What if I love that. Thank you. What if we danced and we just went, you know what, I've had enough of feeling stressed and pissed off and, you know, helpless and trapped or whatever we're feeling, frustrated, and just danced with the energy. What would happen? Love it. What do you guys feel? Like, what's important for people to, like, what can we share right now? What wants to come through to really help people just come back to what's true, to walk through this moment?
To kind of draw on what you were saying about dance and that energy, the word that's kind of flowing through me, and I come back to this word because I feel it's so important for me, is play. And what is that for you? Because play is something that's easily accessible to everybody, no matter what your age is. And even the discovery of it is a journey of joy. Like, so what is that play for us right now? What would it be like? Like, we're playing here, right? We're just having chats, having fun. I'm really enjoying this. I'm having a laugh. What is play? Like, what is play to you right now? Because sometimes when we feel like things have been taken from us, and when we feel that our world is getting smaller and the rules, or whatever you want to call that, what we do have sovereignty over is how we allow ourselves to play, even in the moment to moment time. In our interactions, in our turning on the radio, in our dance, in our laugh, in our reading, in our looking out at the sunset right now that I'm doing as I'm sitting here, picking up the phone, stimulation. Like, what is that play for you? Is it going to the beach, having a walk? Like, what can you do that is play, essentially? I don't know. Does anybody else have any ideas around this? For me, play is what connects me to my magic. And I talked to you, Tara, about the last day that I felt that I had lost my magic. What's my hands doing right now? Quote unquote, like a kid. Like, I had lost a bit of my magic in the sense I was going into that death phase that I was doing the last 3 months before I'm kind of coming out of it now. Of course, that's not true. That's just a perception. But as I've been playing the last week, and part of that has been with some of you people here as well, I've been finding out, oh yeah, it's there. Oh yeah, I'm not as, you know, this, there's more of this. It's that expansion thing. So I don't know, is that part of it?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The inner child is always there. And what makes a child happy? When they're just free to play, it brings back that innocence. And then you see the child as shining in the unconditional light and love that they are. And what a way to go through a transition, to be with that inner joy, to be with that inner playfulness. Like, all of it's a game. How do we know that one thing is reality and one thing is illusion? Like David was saying about the dream. How do we know that all this lockdown stuff isn't the dream and we're waking up out of nightmare? We don't know which one's, you know. But what if you could play and dance and come into that place of absolute heart of a child? Because that's the way into heaven, isn't it? To have the heart of a child. Oh, David, you're talking. Let's unmute you. There you go, my friend.
Okay. Yeah, I love what you're saying, because, you know, to play, we have to be children. And, you know, I remember those words of Yeshua, you know, unless you be like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And if the fifth dimension is the kingdom of heaven, then in order to enter it, you know, we've got to be like little children. The thing about a little child at play, you know, they're picked up in a place, you know, when you're a little kid, you're suddenly picked up, you put in the seat of a car and away you go. You don't really know where you're going or what's happening. It's all happening to you. And in that childlike state, where instead of we are wondering about what the nature of the fifth dimension is, or you know, the child doesn't worry about the nature of the car seat, it just gets plonked in there. And in a sense, I feel we have to be like little children. We've done whatever we're going to do, you know, and it's just like if we can just surrender and be in that playful, you know, joyful, almost like not give a damn, you know, so what, you know, if we all end up in the wrong place because we stepped into the wrong light or something, I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, I mean, it's just that longing to serve, you know, I don't care who takes me, where I go, so long as I can just be serving and of some use, and so long as it's fun and a bit of a joke and a bit of a laugh, I don't mind.
I just had that image then of like getting in an elevator, like you think you're just going to go up the, you know, up the floor to work or something, and you get out and you're not on the 5th floor and you're on the 8th floor, and you don't recognize anything, you know. It's like we trust the elevator, don't we, that it's going to take us where we expect it to go, or we trust that we trust our grown-ups when we're little that they'll put us in the car and we'll get somewhere safely, you know, and it'll hopefully be nice. And maybe that's the thing. It's like, well, can we trust it? Can we trust the elevator, that ascension process, whatever it is? And I believe first is actually the ascension is within. It's to be fully spirited in the body, fully alive in this moment now. And through that's the inner portal. That's for me how it is. It's not an I'm going up into the outer space necessarily. It's like I'm coming into my inner space. That's where the unconditional love, heaven space is. It's within the heart. And yes, I may get on a spaceship with my Pleiadian brothers and sisters at the same time, who knows? But yeah, can we trust the vehicle that's getting us there when so many people, so many of us have had such a lot of reasons not to trust? And I think that's why people are jamming on the brakes and feeling that fear and going back into their heads, like you were saying earlier. But it's like coming back, you know, trusting the self, trusting that there's a divine game in there, the Leela, trusting the inner child to feel it. And the inner child will always know, no, we're not going the right way. No, I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. This is where the fun is. This is where the play is. The child will always do that. So maybe we haven't trusted our containers and our authorities and our governments, but maybe we can trust the inner child to navigate us, you know, in the right direction.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I'm just summarizing what you guys are saying.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing about a child is their total trust. You see, the child doesn't question. The child just trusts the parents. And in a sense, it is in that total trust of the inner child. Just allowing and not questioning. As soon as you question, because fear comes in, lack of trust is fear. As soon as the fear comes in, that's it. Forget it, you know.
Tina here is saying, she's Tina Mason Thapper, she's a wonderful woman. She's always on my videos. And she says, keeping an attitude of gratitude helps me sail smoothly through life's journey. Absolutely right. Just feeling the gratitude. And that's a super high vibration. You look on the Maslow's, there's a vibrational scale where you can correlate the emotion with the vibration, and feeling gratitude is like super high resonance. Then you go up into bliss, then you go up into that absolute enlightenment moment. So having that love, having that gratitude, you're on the right path. Having that playfulness. Chrissy just popped out to get some food, you know, and I'm still curious. I'm like, well, what is this moment of this portal, this, you know, solstice time? And there has been a lot of predictions, let's say, of 3 days of darkness or 10 days of darkness? And is it the internet? And is it the sun? And will we get a new sun? And is our planet traveling somewhere? And will the aliens come? And, you know, just curious. What do you guys think on that? Anybody been connecting with other beings and aliens and getting, you know, I know Mary, you do. David, maybe you've got a quantum physics explanation.
Yeah, I mean, I just look back at 2012 and say, well, whatever happened in 2012, what the NASA said, what the astronomer says, we missed a coronal mass ejection, a Carrington event, by 9 days. So,
sorry, say that
you know,
again. We missed a what? We missed a what?
We missed a Carrington event, a coronal mass ejection, a solar superstorm, an electric storm from the sun. Now, the point of view, you talk about the days of darkness. If we get hit by one of those things, there'll be a blackout. You know, there'll be days of darkness. They may be permanent. We're better off in the UK because we've got backup. We've got 2 grids basically, and they're going to use the first generation grid like a flood, you know, defense, where they're going to drain. They're going to switch off all the electric, so it goes completely blackout. All the power of the national grid will be drained through the backup grid, which will be Earth. So they're going to earth all the electricity, all the power will go to Earth, and all our lights will be out for 48 hours. The lights will come on in Britain, but everywhere else in the world, the transformers will be fried. You see, so we're very lucky here. We've got an advantage. But if what happened in 2012 happens at this time, which is anticipated, then there will be days of darkness, but there'll be more than 3 days of darkness. It won't be like dark outside. It'll be no electric, no lights, no internet.
Right, so people should, build a barbecue outside, get some logs, do a fast, do a vision quest, go on a vision quest and do a fast.
I mean, the thing
not
is
a bad idea, actually.
We don't know anything about ascension or anything, but we do know there's a lot of reason to suppose that it's very likely we're going to be hit by one of these flares, if you like, massive flares, because the sun is especially active in the solar maximum. There are going to be swarms of these damn things. The chance of missing one is pretty remote.
I've been watching space weather, and the solar flares are just getting bigger and bigger. They are pretty huge. But honestly, we're not saying this, David. I'm sure you're not saying this to make people panic.
No.
You know, it's just like maybe it's just like the cosmic reset. You know, just switch it. It's not working. Let's switch it off and switch it back on again. But don't panic. Don't panic. Dance through the darkness. Have your death moment. Dance through it. What do you think, guys?
Well, I mean, the scenario I'm painting is that I think the call, whilst we're going through the electric storm, the call will come. We don't know how it's going to come, but it won't be it'll be in our spirit. They call it the rapture, where we'll find our spirit is in another dimension, where we'll be prepared and we'll come back, but we will have the powers to do things, to look after people, so that it's like, instead of the power being in industry and being in the government and what have you, we're given the power so that we can look after the people and duplicate things that they need, move in and out of space-time. I mean, it's very exciting, but I think it's all going to come together. That's why there's nothing to fear. It's going to be a wonderful party. We're all going to have an amazing time. This is our time. We're going to be given our time. And I just think it's such a celebration, such a joy, and a time of rejoicing coming. Yeah.
Wonderful. So we're going to come back as superheroes. We'll disappear.
Something like that. Instead of Superman or Wonder Woman, it's Super Tara coming this time.
The Light Being Brigade.
That's right.
Thank you, guys. What do you think? Like Mary, you talk to other beings. Have you got any thoughts on this? I chuck you in the deep end. I'm sorry, I keep doing that.
Yeah, I haven't asked that question, and do you know why? Because it doesn't interest me. That's funny that, like, and this is that part of that thing where I'm just like, and I switch. I just turn off the computer, because I'm like, well, that doesn't matter to me because it won't affect me, if that's an awful thing to say. But if it does come to pass, and what David was saying there about the solar flares, I mean, all that's energy. And if that energy is coming through, well, then that's going to shift us physically at a physical level as well. So it could perhaps be another element of the body itself readjusting again to receive more, if you want to say the word, light as well, which could be very uncomfortable for some people that are at that, you know, and even myself, I'll even say, you know, you're transitioning physically or you're shifting stuff. If we're talking about other beings, and what was your question around that? Have I asked?
Oh, I'm just curious if you had any, you know, any contacts or any visions about any other beings, other dimensional beings visiting us, asking us to go with them.
Well, they're here already. You know that. As in, whenever you're tuning in and you're talking, that's what, you know, what is the other beings? Are the other aspects of ourselves? Are the other species? Like, does it, this is where I feel I don't want to get caught up in things like that, because you can go down a lot of rabbit holes. And when I was really interested in that at the very start of when I was seeing things freaking everywhere, I got scared. I was like, holy crappy moly, wow, oh my goodness. And I was like, well, do I want to know it? Is it important for me? Some of those questions were, no, it's not. You don't need to know that. And I'm like, okay, well then show me what I need to know then. And that's what I will focus on. Sometimes it can be fun though. It's like you're at a party and you're like, let's just play. And you can play and have a look around. But have I asked that specific question? No, because it didn't interest me to ask that. And I always try, this is one of the things I've realized as I look back, like January, February, I was getting prepped for what's happening now, and all this information that made me no sense. I was like, oh, okay, but I wasn't given too much because my mind would have gotten involved as well. For me, I want to tell people, and I think this is important maybe, or just share this, that don't get hooked up on this, you know, as in the sense of where it can be a fear or an expectation, and then there's an attachment or a significant meaning is given to it. And if it doesn't happen, this means that. And if it does, well, then it confirms this. And it can get confused. It can cause confusion actually and chaos. So I don't have an answer for you on that because I haven't bothered looking.
I think that was the perfect answer. That was the perfect answer.
And I don't know, is that, maybe I don't want to, maybe that's subconscious. Like, well, I'm just going to go with that for now. Yeah.
That's your, I think it's a perfect answer. Guys are saying on here that people are commenting and talking about how they've been feeling a lot of energy in their bodies and lots of aches and pains coming up as well, and that they're, even some of them are feeling a lot of energy, a lot of heat feelings coming through really strongly for people even right now as we're speaking. I mean, I feel fully charged. I have to say I've been having quite a lot of stiffness actually in my neck and shoulders, which I don't usually have. You're nodding, Chrissy. Have you been having that too? It's like, it's my body going, Tara, this is where you still need to really let go and open up and let those light codes in. Let the cells change. You're muted, Phoebe. I can't hear you. There you are. No, I got you now. We can hear you.
Oh, really unusual neck pain, like in the spine and the neck that I never have. I was just like, huh? Where did this come from?
Oh. You know some breathing that would help that, don't you, Marcel?
Breathing helps with everything. Now, I was just thinking about David, and he was talking about trust and absolute trust. This is one of my things always which comes up, absolute trust. The universe has our back, so we can trust in a higher power, higher energy, that everything is always already okay. And our mind will always try to figure out whatever, but there's a bigger trust in that everything is okay, whatever happens in whatever form. So then you can relax into your own being. And that's, I think, the most important thing. And having contact with other dimensions and just like death. When my ex-partner died, with whom I was for 20 years, the information came naturally through my daughter, and it was very beautiful. But I had to instruct her in a certain way, and then intuitively, the right knowledge to instruct her came naturally. So there was a natural trust in whatever happens is the right thing, and that is the beauty. So more giving yourself over and surrendering to this absolute trust, which is who we are in a higher form, that it makes life an ongoing adventure. So everything happens at the right time, and I think at this moment everything comes into the light. So also the old pains, the old suffering, the old traumas, the old whatever, everything comes into the light. So I think that is the thing what we are experiencing now. If it is a pain in the neck or pain wherever, I feel it also. And also these dark parts I had still in my old pains, which were suppressed maybe in a certain way. It came the last few weeks all into the light. And sometimes it is painful, but at the same time, I have this absolute trust. It can be seen now, and that's the beauty. Everything comes into the light.
Oh, wow.
Can I come in there? Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just love what you said about trusting, because, you know, every evening, the thing I love to do the most when I get is to get into bed, that moment of just falling asleep. I don't know where I'm going to go. And I mean, every night I have this amazing adventure. I go somewhere and all sorts of incredible things are happening, and they don't freak me out. I just go from one situation to another and wake up. And I woke up this morning and I'd been in this place with loads and loads of people, and it was like in Cornwall, and they were doing all sorts of things. But the thing is that it was all free and it was all wonderful, and it felt like I'd been in another dimension. And I feel, you know, if we've got the same attitude to this transition, that we're just going to go to sleep and have a dream. And there's no big deal, and we don't have to do anything. We don't have to pay anything. We just relax into it and just go, oh, thank God, you know, it's all, forget the world, I'm going to sleep, you know.
David, can I add something to that, please?
Yeah.
Because I love my dream space a lot. And sometimes there are things that happen in my dream space where I wonder, like, would this be possible in a fifth dimensional realm? Because matter is less dense. Now, one of the things I do a lot is I'll stand and I have my hands pointed at the ground and I project energy downwards. And once the energy field has built up enough, I can lift myself up and levitate. And are you still there, David?
Yeah, I'm having problems. It's okay, I'm still with you. It's okay. Sorry.
You went into the closet.
I just muted him because he was very crackly. Carry on, Chrissy. What happened when you levitated? Chrissy.
Yeah, so I can levitate, and then and that's kind of really normal in my dream space. There's nothing special about it. It's just something that I do, and I know exactly how to do it. Build up the force field, and then lift myself up, and I levitate. And once I'm levitating, I can also start moving my body in different ways, so I can start flying around. Now, from a physicist point of view, is it so that in fifth dimensional reality, and we have less density, that it's more likely that we can experience what we now perceive as magic?
You know what, asking me?
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. What really, when we go into the dream state and we're flying, that is very much what we're capable of doing. And I certainly believe that after our transition, when we come back, we'll be able to do that as well in this particular dream state where we're kind of stuck to gravity, because a lot of the mystics have had this experience of levitation. And, you know, I think that, you know, when we go into the dream state, when we go to, and we have that flying experience, Christiana, I think that's definitely what we're going to enjoy. Not just in the higher dimensions, but in this dimension in future.
I really want that. I really, really want that, because you know how I see the fifth dimension? I love humor and I love fun, as Tara knows, because when we're together, we have a lot of fun. But I just love the idea that we're not all so bloody serious about everything, but that we just have a lot of fun, you know, like having crazy like fun. And I would love to, you know, like I had this scenario in my head the other day that, you know, how people move into fifth dimensional reality and some people still kind of need to catch up. And I thought, how much fun is it? You arrive at the border and they're being all difficult with you about your passport and stuff. And you just stand like that for a moment and you just levitate up and you go, look, I'm free. So can you be? Just be, you know, like that you use it as a fun tool to like have people go, oh yeah, oh my God, like why am I still like stuck in this bureaucratic program when we can actually just.
So lockdown is the blessing where everybody can practice levitation.
I'm already practicing. It's going very badly, but.
You know what, Chrissy, you said something earlier, and we're going to wrap up real soon so that Mary Catherine can take us into a beautiful guided meditation. But before we wrap up, I just want to get final comments from all of you. But Chrissy, you said something earlier, I think it was you, talked about quarantine. Or was it you, Marcel? One of you mentioned quarantine. And years and years ago, I was talking, I mean, I've been conversing with Gaia for many, many years through soul reading. I met her in other people's energy field, and then I just started having my own conversations with Gaia. And she was showing me how we are like a little baby in the womb of the mother, in this big sack, a big watery sack, and we are being breathed. But we can't directly see our parents. We can't directly see and touch our mother. We can't directly see and touch our father. We're a little baby in the womb, and there's a sense of separation. There's a sense of isolation, but we are being provided for. And Gaia explained this to me like being in quarantine. And it's for a reason, because we have been isolated or apparently isolated in the universe, thinking that we're alone and separate on this planet until recently going out looking for other life, but believing mostly that we're separate here, and that we have been developing all this time, going, where is God? Where is the real goddess? What, you know, I'm not talking to Gaia, I'm not talking to God, you know, but still we've been sustained, we've been given breath, we've been breathed, we've been provided for. Everything for our growth has been there, and we develop and we develop and we develop, and what was true for us yesterday is no longer true today. You know, what spiritual indoctrination was true 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago is not true now, because we've grown, we've evolved, we've developed. And Gaia was talking about this time now as the time of the birthing of the divine child, that we have been now created perfect. We are in the blueprint, the divine blueprint. We've been built to a divine blueprint. And whilst we've been in this womb or quarantine-like isolation state of our evolution, we've got all kinds of concepts of what we are and who we are and what we can do and what we can't do and what's real and what's not real. But and we've kind of imposed that on ourselves. It's been a self-imposition, self-conditioning, really. We say other people conditioned us, but we really did it to ourselves as a species.
Yes.
And meanwhile, we're in this womb to a divine blueprint. We have been created and gestated, and we are about to birth. We've been in the process. Gaia's been in labor for a long time, hence all the big energy rushes, and then goes quiet for again, and energy rushes and quiet again, and everyone's learning how to breathe and deal with these rushes and ride the waves and try and be in pleasure rather than in pain, and feel the bliss of the birthing rather than the agony. And we've all been practicing this with Gaia as she's been going through this labor. And here she is, and it's like there's a moment just before the baby starts coming out, and it's called transition. And it's total stillness, where there's no contractions, no labor, nothing. And it feels like entering this timeless, weird, absolute space. And it can really weird some people out giving birth, and they're like, well, what's happening? Is the baby coming? Is it stopped? Should I just go home? Should I just, go to sleep? It's really weird. But I feel like we've been, and we are in the last parts of this transition moment. and it is about getting into absolute presence, absolute stillness with what is. And then before we know it, whatever portal, whatever gateway, whatever opening happens of the Divine Mother, when she's ready to birth us, we will be birthed. And we will recognize ourselves as a birthed being, as a brand new being that has direct contact with the Mother. We can see her, we can hear her, we can, you know, it's real. We can see our Father, hear our Father, communicate. It becomes more real. We're no longer in separation or apparent separation. And we see ourselves through the eyes of our parents in unconditional love as they see us. And that in this world, as an earth womb space, as a quarantine space for our development, that we will also at this moment also know who we are, that we are no longer in a sense in quarantine as a solitary little planet on our own, alone in this universe, that we will suddenly, we're not in quarantine anymore, that those veils go down and we see what's literally just beyond, like when you come out of the womb, it's only like a few layers of skin thick and a bubble of water. Is, you know, it's a tiny space to transition through from one reality to a completely different one. And it's the same that's happening. My feeling is what I hear from Gaia, that same thing. It's like, it's just a little hop into a completely different reality where we are fully ourselves. But again, we're being born as a newborn. We're not the fully grown divine child, we're the newborn divine child. And it's very tender. There's a lot of feelings. We need a lot of compassion and gentleness so that we are, you know, holding ourselves and holding one another like these precious divine children that we are. That took a bit longer than I expected, but that's my feeling on the whole. So, my friends, I absolutely love each and every single one of you. It's wonderful to share this space with you. Have you got final words for our beautiful friends who are watching?
Compassion. Compassion. I just received a text from my stepmother. My father died 20 years ago next week, next week. And we haven't been in touch. And we got in touch with her. I did first a few months ago. My sister did today. And she, as we're speaking, she sent me a message. She said, a more beautiful Christmas doesn't exist now that we are reconnected. Oh. And that touches me, because no matter what happened, we have compassion for each other. And I just feel that that's a beautiful message, that no matter what happens, that we keep being able to have that compassion.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I wanted to add something also, and a few days ago I was a little unrestful, laying in bed because of all this suffering, etc., and still fighting against it a little. Then at a certain moment it turned all around. I felt this spacious and eternal love of Mother Earth. I felt the stillness I always experienced now became completely clear. I felt it like there was this intuition that the stillness and this eternal silence is the eternal love and the eternal being of Mother Earth, which is like a mother surrounding you completely with her love. And she is without any opinion, without any idea. So a few days ago, it became totally clear that the stillness I always, in a way, experienced is this love. If you are still enough, you can experience it as complete and total love, and not as the love of your mother and father. But then I felt all these dying and all these people. The mother, during her eternal being, has always been around with her love, is always there every moment, every second, and giving yourself over to this eternal love felt very comforting. It's the most comforting thing you can imagine, even beyond imagination. So, I want to just tell that. And still, that doesn't mean I always feel it so intense, but I know it's there in this stillness, in this, and you can experience it as love. And it's the most complete love I ever experienced.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Marcel.
I love what you both said there, you know, because that tunnel of light, you know, the birthing process, as we pass from the darkness of the womb into the brilliant light of the new world we're entering, where there is the total love of the mother that's always been there, but now we can see her. You know, we weren't separated from her in that little bubble. She holds us in her arms and she puts us on the titty, and just total the love of the father and mother. You know, we enter the world where they actually are, and we're the little versions of them coming in. I just thought the whole way you spoke, Tara, both of you, Marcel as well, it's just so much that, and that, you know, the baby can't not birth at that point. You know, baby's got no choice. I mean, you're just shot out into the tunnel of light into the arms of the mother. I mean, you know, it's so much that what Gaia's been saying is that, and that's why we don't have to think about, baby doesn't start thinking about it and thinking, well, I wonder what this dimension is that I'm going into, and can I really trust the mother?
And are there aliens?
I mean, what sort of titty is it going to be anyway, you know? So we just have to surrender and let go of all our concepts and abstractions and just be like little babies. Jesus said, unless you be like little children. Well, I say, unless you be like little babies, you know. Tara, you're saying that as well. We just got to be like newborns.
We are that. I love you, David. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Tara. I love you too. Yeah.
Oh, Mary Catherine, do you have any final words? Well, would you like to just say whatever you're going to say and lead us into a meditation of some kind? I'm going to mute and put my video on and just tune in as well and be in stillness and be with whatever Mary shares. I may come in again, probably will come in again at some point. But I just want to welcome all our new viewers that have rocked up, especially for this meditation with you, Mary. And we've had a really wonderful time. You can always replay what we've shared. It's been so much fun and very enlightening and very deep and profound, and I've loved it. And you can also share it, guys, with your tribe, put it out there, let other people hear what we've been getting up to here for the last couple of hours if you've enjoyed it. So thanks for being with us. And also there's a bunch of people that have just joined on this webinar, and I welcome you here as well, guys. And again, once again, thank you, beautiful guests. I hope we get to do this again at some point. I'll invite you back. And so much love to you. So Mary, take it away, girlfriend.
Thank you. I'm just drinking in everything that we've let out and received. So I'm going to invite us into a receiving position, whatever that is for you. Open heart, open body, open mind. And invite in that Jupiter wisdom and expansion. And invite in that Saturn energy, that conjunction energy, and all that brings time upon time. I'm going to get you now just to connect with your physical body in any way that you wish. Hand on the heart, hand on the tummy, sacral, womb space. Now invite in source, creator energy, that life force energy of the breath, and just breathe it in, receive. Deeply in, deeply out. Just begin to feel yourself relax and let go. And we'll invite in that Gaia, earth energy, and all her elements and nature. And we'll breathe and receive that up and in. up through the feet. The I am force of you. I invite you to call it forth now as well. Welcoming all parts of you here. And like a delicious breeze, just breathe that in and out. And we're just beginning to become still with ourselves. All of our energies, our thoughts, our body. And as you become this receiving cup of stillness, again breathing in. And on the exhale, just begin to soften that tummy, soften your sacred sitting space. Just let out in that root. And I know that some of you have put in the comments that you're having tightness in certain areas, the crown or the neck. And if you wish, bring a hand up to that space. Don't be afraid to hold yourself, to massage your sacred temple. And stretch it out as you breathe in. We're inviting in complete expansion, loosening, letting go-ness. Now I'm going to invite you to continue to breathe. And as you do so, connecting in with the heart space, just breathing into the heart. Allowing your consciousness to drop down past the eyes. That little part of you in the mind space. The you that maybe is in control now. Just let him, let her drop down behind the eyes, floating on the invisible elevator of the breath. All the way down past the throat. Breathing, softening the jaw, the throat, all the little tubes there. Washing yourself down into the heart space. And connecting in with the one love, the true love of that heart space now. The I am, the divinity of you. And just acknowledging yourself here. Hello, me. Breathing yourself in. And floating down now even deeper. Deeper down, down past the divine will center, shining like a brilliant sun. Allowing that breath to expand with you, not forcing or pushing, just allowing. Breathing yourself into the tummy area, floating down. Noticing the darkness, the brightness, the expansion. And breathing out now, softening that sitting space, the urethra all the way to the back passage. Just let go there. Surrender that space. And allow yourself to travel down, opening the sacral, the hips, down through the legs, feeling yourself release, relax, let go. And down now into the earth itself. You'll see and feel that consciousness of you run into the earth beneath your feet as you breathe in, as you breathe out, going down through the crust of the earth, the river beds, the rock beds, the crystal beds. And we are now activating that crystal grid beneath your feet with the I am presence of you and source itself. Kuma mini ebe shipa ama kamana atema ashawa ni wa akai. And as you breathe in and feeling and sensing perhaps a golden light energy run throughout your feet, the earth here, gridding out beneath you, I want you now to imagine, see, sense, visualize a beautiful space here, right in the earth center, in the womb of Gaia herself. And she will unveil this to you in whatever way that you need to see and feel it. And just breathe it in now. Gaia is here in her own birthing process. And all controls, all contractions you too have felt this past while, she too is experiencing. And as you connect now with your breath into her breath, into her heart, your heart to hers, her heart to your heart, your womb to her womb. See within her the mirror of your own inner divine child. What do you look like? Get a sense of that divine child now. What does he or she look like? Gaia is revealing this child to you. This is the child of New Earth. This is the divine child of you, always has been, always will be. What does it look like? Breathe it in. What does it smell like? What do you smell like here? Is it like that newborn babe smell? Is it freshness, isness itself? Get a sense of what does it feel like? What does he or she feel like? Playful, curious, open, willing? Would you be willing here right now in the depths of this earth to play with this divine child and receive the codes and the light and the wisdom and knowledge that it has for you? And just breathe and receive that. Now allow a transmission from the divine child now to Earth and Gaia herself. Kuranaye sansawaye, kurna sainzanzure, yanzenzeu, yanzanzeu, manashanaye kerenamasutu. Vinzeshe. Zana ikamara koman ite chambayele halawa. Allow yourself to connect in. Feel your feet grounded into the feet of this child. Let it stand upon your feet as if you are dancing a dance with it. What would that feel like? Hold its hands. Let it stand upon you. Hold it close. Breathe it in. What does it need to come home with you? And this is any lost or forgotten part of you now that you are calling home. What does it need? What do you need me? I need to trust, be loved. I need to receive. I need to soften. Whatever that is, just allow for now, in this moment. Me to just be me, be free. Any of you feeling stuck or caught or trapped? Any of you feeling any tightness now in the root or the sacral or in your feet? Just let go of any and all expectations, contracts, vows, oaths, promises, programs, making you feel a little stuck. You can't quite fully play right here, right now. Just feel that release from you, those chains, those shackles. I'm just seeing and sensing a few there now. Just breathe in. Own your own self. You're free. Dance. Receive your message now and bring the child into your heart. And in a way that you hold a child, placing your forehead to its forehead, let its wisdom connect with yours. What is it like to just be? Those of you having any responsibilities weighing you down on your shoulders, have to, shoulds, musts, you'll just feel that melt away now as you begin to receive the truth of who it is you truly are. And you let Gaia, Mother, Most Holy One, hold you now as you sit deep into her darkness, into her beauty, into the light coursing through her veins, that grid work. And just let that warmth travel around your back now. Your shoulders melting, clearing, cleansing, opening up the heart chakra to receive. Opening the divine will, feeling your power course through you more. And all power that was taken or lost or misused, misaligned, manipulate it now. You're breathing it back in as it is transmuting through the Gaia Earth Mother herself. Shana iketa ant awa inimana arari shipar kuman iti chichiwa ama chuchiwa ama chichiwa ama nesewa I. And as you breathe again, the breath, the life force, deeper now, deeper in, filling the lungs. You'll hear the earth song. And this is the new earth song. Maybe it's the winds of change, the winds of time changing. All of the old released. We're no longer holding it or responsible for it. All the loops closing, timelines converging, space, time merging into one. Just the love. Source itself with you, Gaia herself with you, your own inner divineness. This is 0 point. Shaka sani ichiba akatana ukutamani para ye. Balance and harmony. Wujan sani isibe ewa ye. Nikatana satura omdana e. Ira, yira, yira ne. And as you breathe now, the spiral of life force itself begins to spin within you and out of you. And this is opening you now all the way up to the divine gateway, your causal, your crown. The doorways are opening. Just keep breathing. Releasing, forgiving, loving. Yashana Mayi Kiri, letting go. Third eye opening. Nuru Tayete Nimana Ukurona Yusha. Nuwisha Nana Septe Uro Shibara Kumani E Washa Awoye. Your ears are clearer. As Gaia's earth song and breath breathes through you now, just receive. Feeling the jaw open as you breathe in this new light. The tongue soften and slide back as the elixir of love and hope, joy, bliss, swallow it in. Your taste. The divineness of you. Feeling the heart open as that spiral works its way through the heart space, the upper heart, sacred heart, the balancing of the feminine, the masculine, the mother, the father. Zion Zani Mazine Yasayu Zion Imna Soro Ziazau Kiri Anna Katayishin Ba'awai. Finally, that light, that love settling in the belly. And just notice your belly expand. As you've swallowed in that earth itself, that divine child, the universe within you, and all the possibilities of what is now. The untapped opened as you receive. And feel that bright, shining sunlight source just warm you now. Feel the warmth. And like a rose in bloom opening, breathe it in. You'll get a sense that that energy now will flow and unlock the root, your safety center, and run up through the spine, up into the neck, unlocking the neck, into the brain space itself now, as you accept more of yourself. more of you. In gratitude, appreciation, thank you, me. Open and soft, feeling yourself swaddled and gently rocked by the source of light and Gaia herself. Ushuma, Ushuma Saniye, Chinikara Santanamavu Eshidiana Sutura Naike, Zantana Eshe, Usundana Isi, Iriana Sura Kunsunaye, Navra Laka Santene, Fana Akira. Come home, come home, come home. All timelines are activated. Trust when you walk that path. Love and accept. And this is. As you breathe yourself up now again. Feeling your feet on the ground, centered and aligned. I invite any other participant here that would like to come in if you wish. Come in now, Tara. And if not, that's okay too.
I'm so with you, sister. I'm just squeezing your hand and loving you right now. Thank you so much. I see you.
So then I invite us, all of us on this call, all of us that will watch in the future, all of us watching now, brothers and sisters, as we gather here now, I invite us to extend our hands and our hearts out to those to your left and right. And let's create that circle now, a circle of completion of all of your intentions, whatever they may have been coming here today. And all of the intentions that we have for Mother Earth now, for the humanity itself. Let's really anchor that in. Let's call it forth. What is that? Is it peace, love? The 0 point itself, the actualization of our own divine nature, the connection to that divine child, health, abundance. Whatever your intention is, I welcome it here now as we bring all of these into our golden pot here now. And drop them in as if you are dropping in these wishes, these intentions into a well. And this is the well of Earth itself, the well of all of the universe and all of the universes, all galaxies. This is creation itself we're dropping this into from this love space. And you're holding the hand of your divine child here too. And any knowledge and wisdom it has, let it speak for you now. It may know and see and sense and feel. It may just be.
Both your wishes. Speak them into Gaia. Let her hear your voice.
I'm just getting a sense as well of all of our ancestors, our families, maybe those of us that are like, what if they're not coming? Well, what if your wish is just for their peace too? And dropping that in. And they're on their journey and you're on yours. And all we can be is love. So let go of anything sticky or tough or heavy. And it will fall into the vast well of is, of love, of all that is. This moment, this time. I want you now as well, you'll feel that rush from your left to your right, the giving and the receiving. And you'll feel the being, the person, the heart, the soul to your left. And you'll feel the being, the heart, the soul of the person to your right. And in love now, receive of them as they receive of you, as you balance your giving, receiving. And you are being calibrated as this happens. And just breathe. Ooh. We're together. And we're playing now.
Between all lands.
Mm.
Love is the bridge between every cell, every molecule, every particle in time and space, in all dimensions. Love is the bridge between continents and countries. Love is your bridge. We can offer that bridge to our ancestors. We can offer that bridge to our future children, the ones that inherit this earth. We can offer that bridge to people we've had bad energy with. And we can offer that bridge to our own heart and come within the love and build the bridge within. Let everything come into the unified field right now in this moment with no separation, only love. Continue to guide us, Mary.
What does it feel like here in this love? Let it play across your lips and your mouth. Is it good? What does it feel like here now? Any of you holding, just continue to breathe it out. It'll fall into that well. Now is the time you can let go and forgive and release. No controlling. And anywhere you're feeling controlled, all of those latches, cords, attachments, they're just melting away in this. Nothing is more powerful than this. Just being here together. As we call in the light of all that we are, the I am now. As this too has evolved. We'll bridge, as Tara said, that connection even more. That connection to love, to truth, to knowingness, to beingness. All else obsolete, forgotten, let go, healed, transmuted. lovingly thankful.
Wholeness.
Wholeness. Let your sacrals expand as this energy expands within you. And anything that's been stored, just opening the legs and letting it go. Feel your feet now like roots, completely connected to this new earth energy. And is it really new, or is it just remembered? Just allow. What color is this to you? And let that color float down like melted honey down your legs, glorious, like beautiful, clear crystal waters now, just cleansing you. And at the same time, washing away, purifying, as your feet become more and more anchored, more attuned into this sense, this feeling of connection with isness, I am, Gaia, and Source.
And what sound wants to come from you? You were born to be here, right now. This is your earth. You are the second coming of the divine child. It's your time to play. Allow your energy, allow your expression, allow your feeling to come through your voice right now. To come through your voice right now. Doesn't matter if anyone's listening. This is you in your freedom. This is a celebration of this moment of your birth into full recognition of that which you are, which you've always been designed to be, destined to become, exactly as you are now, perfect, complete and whole in every single way. Breathe in and feel and let out your scream, your joy, your delight, your sound, your toning, your language. And maybe it has color, and maybe it has fragrance, and maybe you can even touch those words or that sound. Give yourself full permission. You can rejoice. I am a divine child. I am born to be here. Say it out loud. I'm a divine child and I'm born to be here. This is my time, my earth, my gift. And feel yourself being received by everyone else around you. All of us in our brand new divine child baby bodies. Maybe you're unrecognizable. But what a sight to see as you embrace others and they embrace you. See the magic in this moment. See it around your body and around their bodies, and feel it in the air. It's palpable. You can taste it. You can smell it. You can touch it. And anything you wish to create, anything that comes from your heart, like a bubble of pure, inspiration that rises up from your heart and out of your mouth and out of your fingertips through your arms, that you so desire from your true heart soul to create will be created, is being created right now. That is your power. That is the gift that you bring to the world, is your heart soul song, your heart soul creation. Breathe, feel, create. And we can hear the song of everybody else, all the singing, all the song. We can feel the resonance as we all come together. We can see the creations and rejoice and celebrate in each other's creations, because there's no right and there's no wrong. It's all allowed because it's all from the heart. Everything is created perfect. And you are created perfect. Let yourself run wild. And we can celebrate. This is our earth. We are the ones we've been waiting for. You are the future that you wanted to arrive to save you. That future is you. That future is now. You have arrived. And we are home. And you were never lost. So celebrate, children, celebrate, brothers and sisters. Let's hug the earth and send her our love, our devotion. Let's be good children that listen to our mother and love her and respect her, adore her, and listen to her warnings when something's not right. Maybe you want to put your third eye to her, make a little bow, hug her, blow her kisses, send her love. Tell her you love her right now. Love you, mother. Breathe that body awareness of the mother into yourself. As she receives you, you feel it. Then you can turn to Father Sky and the planets and the sun and the solar system and the galaxy and the universe and everything that is swirling and transforming and changing. Lightning and flashes and new planets being born and new portals being opened for our play now that we're free. And you can thank all that is up there as well. Throw your heart to the sky and your arms to the sky. Raise your voice to the heavens. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank the universe, the Father, for holding you, for breathing you. Thank the Mother for birthing you, for feeling every single thing that you've ever felt with you. Thank this opportunity with all your others, your brothers and sisters of heart-soul resonance that are with you. Thank your brothers and sisters that are not here with us in body, that will be once again at some point. Thank all of creation and know that it is yours, it's your playground for your heart to be free in. And bring your awareness to yourself, this fresh embodiment, this fresh conscious connection, this fresh self-realization. And turn all of your senses within and lap up this deliciousness, this absolute cream of creation that you are. Took eons and eons to make you this perfect. Breathe yourself in, receive yourself, drink it up. Keep expanding, keep feeling, keep breathing, keep being, keep trusting, keep loving, keep appreciating, keep remembering. I am the child of the divine, and I am unconditional love. Thank you, me. Well done, me. And like a cute little kid, just give yourself a big hug and a big squeeze. Feel this incredible matter, this incredible light that you are. All the feelings, all the senses, all the knowledge. Squeeze yourself and say to yourself, I love you, me, with all my heart, with all my being. In whichever language comes naturally to you, all of the languages. I love you, me, and all that I am, with my whole heart. Breathe and receive. And never turn away from yourself in this precious moment ever again. Stay in love. I love you. When you feel ready, when you open your eyes, nothing's changed. Keep seeing the world through the eyes of your divine child and through love, because that's how it really is. You've released the veils. Keep seeing the love in everything. Thank you, my friends. Welcome back. So please feel free to share in the comments. Please do. Whatever you experience that you want to share. It's so wonderful for us to be connected in this way. You're totally safe. It's miraculous and magical. And continue to stay in this beautiful vibration wherever you go. Mary Catherine, thank you so much. You are my angel sister. I love you with my whole heart. Is there anything you want to say?
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you to everybody who joined us, all of their energies, the delicious, delicious mixture of everybody. I just want to thank everybody. And David, lovely to meet you, and all of the guests that joined us, Christine and Marcel as well. I'm still breathing back in.
Yeah. Your meditations are amazing. Thank you so much. It was exquisite.
I went on mute by accident halfway through that, so I don't know.
No, what it was is I was picking up a lot of crackling. Your microphone was crackling, so I muted you. I'm sorry, that was me. It was just really intense. It was perfect timing though.
Beautiful. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. Got a massive sense of a lot of the bloodlines washing clear like the waters. And Ororo, I can't pronounce it very well.
Mm.
And a beautiful sense, Tara, at the end there, that we're all standing in front of mirrors, and everybody's hands we were holding had their own mirrors. And every time we looked, it's that reflection back. We are that source, that 0 point, that 5-dimensional within us. And it's that sense of the more and more of us reflecting that back and holding hands. That's the creation of the timeline. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. So thank
It
you.
was. Oh, I'm not going to share here. I don't want to distract everybody's attention, but I had an amazing time. That was really beautiful. Mr. Ash, Mr. David Ash, my dear, dear old friend, anything you'd like to just close us out with this evening so we can all go up and sit under the stars? Oh, I'll just unmute you. Hold on. Let's unmute you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so special to be all together like this and to feel that beautiful presence. I was just enjoying looking at the golden aura around you, Tara, whilst you were speaking. And to all be connected in that golden light that shines between us all, you know, and our hearts are all one. And it's so special to all be together in this way, you know. I mean, I just really appreciate the invitation you gave to let me come on board and join you all. So thank you for that.
It's a pleasure. Maybe we'll hear from you again. I'll bring you on another time. Anyway, my dear friends, Christiane and Marcel, who are here again, love you so much. And guys, we'll see you on the other side. We'll see you on the inside. Love you. Over
Love you too. Bye.